Welcome back to Stitchy AF. This is another Stitch with me on Gamer by Gecko Rouge. And I think today we're going to be working on, this is her little eyebrow, and this is going to be like the start of her eyelid, I think. So that's pretty exciting, getting into some facial features. It has been a crazy week of of sickness and work and just everything it feels like this week. So for it to already be a Saturday again, it seems like it's just come back around so fast. Not that I'm complaining. I absolutely needed the break. I'm so glad it's the weekend. Yeah, just to have a bit of a mental break, I think, more than anything else. Well, I prepared that one earlier, but that just slipped off my needle, so that's no good. Yeah, just have a bit of a mental break from work and everything that's going on there. We're currently going through like we've just gone through a review, so my team is merging with another team at the university. So I work at a university. Yeah, and we're in the middle of merging the two teams, so it's just a lot of information. Oh, there is a cat pulling on my chair. A lot of information overload at the moment, trying to learn some of their processes and the way that they do things, and you know what particular stuff I need to take over within my role, and it's all just oh gosh, this cat is literally climbing up. Ugh. Hi Loki. Hey baby, you can't sit there, you're gonna be, Mummy's gonna elbow you in the head. I know, normally I'd have my leg rest out and you'd be able to lay there near my legs. Here, look. Wave your little paw. Hi. You're gonna have to go, baby boy. You're not making any sudden movements, are you? Oh, baby. Come on. Down. Yeah. Worse than the kids. Get rid of their interruptions. Straight over. Okay. I think we're back. I just tried to move the cat out of here, and he took the whole camera with him. So, and I just thought it might be easier just to edit that out rather than me try to rather than me restart this whole video again. Oh my goodness. Poor thing. I'm just trying to work out whether, oh, sorry, I pulled my project towards me and didn't realize I moved it out of the camera then. I'm just trying to work out with this color here whether it's actually meant to be a part of her eyebrow or not, and whether it should be grey rather than this brown. which I think it probably, I mean, it's not one of the colours that's being used in her hair though, but I think it is the arch of her. I wonder what this colour is. Yeah, just, oh my god, that was so funny. You should have seen how quickly he took down that whole camera. I think it might leave that colour off actually, and then at the end I'll work out whether I want to do it grey or whether I want to do it that colour. That might be the easiest way to work that out. Sorry, sidetracked now by the cat taking out my whole by the cat taking out my whole setup. What was I saying? Yeah, so we're in the process of doing a merge at work. Yeah, it's going to be a big process, a big change, not a big change, I mean, we do the same things, we just worked for 2 different schools, and now we're going to be just the one team for the whole university, but it'll be a big undertaking, so yeah, it's just a lot of information share, a lot of restructuring of the teams, and that's alright. We'll get there, one day at a time, and all of that. My boss, or my senior for our little team, she bought me a gift basket on Friday, so she actually works at a different campus to the one that I'm at, but she had to come up to our campus, and so she came into my office and had this gift basket, and it was so sweet, just to say, you know, thank you for all my hard work through this time, and that she couldn't get through it without me. And I always say, you know, like, we're the same person, we both work the same, we both think the same, so we're really we're a really good team. We get each other, we know exactly what the other one means, and we get it done. And so yeah, she just said, you know, bought me a little gift basket. It had a couple of cans of Coke and lots of chocolate and some Skittles, and it was really sweet. And I was like, thank you so much, I need this. So brightened my day yesterday. Now the camera makes that light look like it's even without the light, the camera's making that look particularly shiny. Yeah, so it was really nice. It was a nice recognition present, I guess. So I feel bad though, because I was like, I should have given her something, because yeah, I don't think either of us could have done it without each other. So, and there's still so much to do. So I'll have to be prepared the next time she comes up to the campus. But yeah, we've been doing lots of training for that at work, but then and training new staff we have in our little section. But then yeah, we've been sick at home. We've had some migraines on and off between me and Joshy, my son, and so we've had a few sick days at home. And my dad, who they live away from us, about 3 hours away from us, he has fallen over at work and hurt himself. So he's in the hospital, so he's been there all week, so we've been, worried about him, and it's obviously not easy for us to get there as soon as it kind of happens to be there with him. So it's all just like information passed through text messages and phone calls, but my sisters and their kids have been able to go down this weekend to see him, so that's good. They'll see him and check in on him for me. And yeah, unfortunately I just couldn't get there, so, which is hard sometimes, when things like that happen, and just not being able to get there. But that's life, I guess. You can only do what you can do. So yeah, it's been a pretty full-on week. I have managed to, only in the last couple of days, I've noticed, like, I keep like a journal of my stitching. That's where I was going with that. And I track, like my daily stitches and all of that. And I was writing in it last night, and I've noticed that so far this month I haven't stitched on like Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays at all. But then Wednesday through to Saturday I've managed to do stitching, so it's just an odd little pattern. I mean, it was because we've been busy on the Sundays, and then Monday and Tuesday I've just been, too tired from the start of the week, I guess. But I was just like, oh, that's a strange little pattern that's occurred this month so far. But yeah, I have managed to do a little bit of stitching, get a bit done, so working on some of my goals for this month, which has been nice. I've also had some migraines and stuff this week, so I haven't done too much, but I'm hoping I at least meet some of my goals for this month, because last month I wasn't very successful. I mean, I finished the only Whip Go goal from February that I finished was actually finished on the 1st of March, so I didn't finish any Whip Go goals in February, but that's alright. It is what it is. Oh. I'm hoping that by doing this colour we can kind of see the outline of where the eyebrows are. And I can make a bit of a better decision about the colours that I'm using there. Because it is hard, like her hair is a lot of red tones, but there's also a lot of like pinkish red tones just around obviously the edge of her face. And there's a lot of deep red tones on her eyelid. So I'm hoping that I just kind of need to sorry, big yawn. I just kind of need to have a bit of a look at the shape that I'm going to get around her eyes and work out what actually needs to be converted there and what actually needs to be that reddish tone. To be more of like her eyelid and her just that natural red tinge to the skin in a way. I don't know if it's natural. I mean, I always have a red tinge to me because I'm pale as anything. I just realised, like, because I'm not talking and I'm concentrating, I'm like holding my mouth open in a serious concentration face. I was like, oh, if anybody was actually just watching my face, I'd look like a bit of a loon, I think. It's got this major concentration face on. Oh, I just wanted to finish this. No, it's not going to happen for me. Oh, that's a shame. I've got one tiny little stitch left of that colour. Ugh. Oh. I hope that wasn't just some thunder I heard. A bit of a rumble in the background there. I don't think it's meant to storm. I mean, it is meant to be raining all weekend and it's getting dark out there, but I didn't think it would actually be storm weather. If it starts to, I might need to pause this and go and check on the puppers. Teddy gets quite scared with thunder, so we'll have to see. Play it by ear, literally. I don't know what this cat did when he fell over and took everything with him, but now I feel like my catching that black piece over there, but I feel like my whole setup is thrown off, but he didn't actually knock the whole thing, so I don't know why. I don't know. He just took the camera out. He didn't like move my stand, but I feel like my arm is feeling tired, like I'm holding it higher than I normally would, but I don't think I am. Like, I didn't adjust the height, so who knows what is happening there. Who knows? I'm loving being in this bit where we're gonna start getting so much more of her, of the gamer girl. I can't wait to get her eyes in. You know, see it really come to life. I've been thinking about starting my starting one of my heeds, but then I'm like, I'll never get anything done. I'm worried if I start it, then I'll spend most of my time on my bigger projects rather than trying to get a lot of my smaller ones done. And I kind of, when I was making my Whipgo boards for this year, I kind of, one of my focuses was I want to get a lot of my smaller ones and a lot of the whips I've had from last year just finished. But look, the more I stitch on this one, and now that I've taken the approach of, with my rainbow succulent, of doing the Royal Rose method and treating it like the full coverage it is, and not like the small project I tried to make it the first time I did it. Like, the more I just kind of want to work on projects that are like that. So I don't know, I'm a bit torn in what I want to do, because I do want to try and finish some of these whips that I got started last year when I was doing the so technically I started them at the end of 2021, so that I could have last year as a no new starts year. So I kind of want to get those ones done and out of the way, because a lot of them, and I think that's the problem. I think if I hadn't have been doing the no new starts, and I had just been kind of like starting as I felt like it, a lot of them would have been just completed and done. I would have spent a bulk amount of time on them and just got them finished. Whereas, because I was like, no, I want to do this challenge, and I started a whole heap in one go, I think there was a point where it was just too overwhelming. And then I was just working on little bits of them and then moving on. And especially with the no new starts and Whip Go, I was focusing on, just those projects for such a short amount of time, and I wasn't really putting enough effort into it to finish it. So I think, and I tried to do my board differently this year, but I did kind of just add a whole lot of my projects back on it. I left some squares to be, have a new start or spin one of my wheels. So I have a BAP wheel, a large and BAP together. I have a smalls wheel, and I have a medium wheel, and I also have a Witchy Stitcher wheel, because I'm on her Patreon, so I get monthly a new pattern from her. So and obviously, like last year, she does her, she'll do her annual stitch along, and all of that. So I've bought that pattern, but I didn't get to start it last year because it came out after the no new starts had already started. So I have a lot of projects like that I want to get to, but I also don't want to start too much and then end up with a whole bunch of whips again, because I feel like then I get no progress at all. on anything. And I mean, I had a fair few finishes last year, and the beginning of this year, so January, I had a bunch of finishes as well. And, oops, sorry. So I have had finishes already this year, and I've done a lot of smalls, a lot of ornaments that along with my whip go. But yeah, I guess I'm a little bit, I don't know what the right word is, like anxious, or I don't know, like I just don't want to I don't want to get to that point again where I have so many whips that I feel a bit overwhelmed, and then I kind of stop stitching because I don't know what I want to stitch on. So, and I think I'm finding that this year, even with the whip go, like last year I jumped in and I did a whole bunch of challenges. I've never been a challenge stitcher before, and I just thought, oh, it'll be a nice way to kind of join in and do that. And then I burnt out really quickly, and so I dropped a whole bunch of challenges. And I guess that's my other thing, is that I am, when I put my mind to something, I want to achieve it. Like I can't let go. So like I got a blackout on my whip go boards last year, and that was and I'd had like months off where I didn't stitch because I was so burnt out from it. So then like towards the end of the year, I powered through to get it done because I was like, well, I don't want to fail at it. And then I'm like, the whole point of whip go is just meant to encourage you to stitch, and it's not meant to be like, you know, like a stressful thing. And then I thought, like, yeah, so I don't know, like I did it again, and I was late setting up my boards for this year. And I think that was because I was a bit in two minds about whether I wanted to do it or not. And I've started doing it, and I mean, like, we're only, 3 months in? Not even full 3 months. And I'm still in that two minds about whether I want to do it or not. So I'm not going to be super strict with myself about it. And if I don't do blackouts by the end of this year, then it is what it is. I think just last year I had that, like, no, I've got to achieve it, because I dropped out of all of those other challenges I'd kind of joined in, apart from the road trip and like the no new starts. I kind of dropped everything else. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again next year, or whether I'm just gonna go back to how I was and just stitch what I want to stitch. And I think that maybe that's why I set it up this time. I'd like to get a few more of these whips polished off and done and put away, so that then I can say to myself, like, okay, no, we're good. And then I can go back to kind of just working on what I want to work on. I don't know if any of that ramble made sense. Sorry, guys. I just, yeah, like, I don't know, I'm at two minds about it, because I burnt out, and I burnt out hard last year, and I don't want to do that again. Especially when this is a hobby and it's one that I do because it helps me de-stress. Some of the challenges were more stress than it was worth to do it. I had I still really enjoy like counting my stitches, because obviously with Pattern Keeper or Markup RXP, it does it for me. I'm not manually counting stitches, so it's nothing at the end of the day for me to look at the stitch count and be like, cool, that's what I've done. So that part of it is still interesting to me. Because last year was the first year that I kept a stitching journal, and I really tracked my stitches. And so I'd love to keep doing that for the stats alone, just to, I think that will be interesting at the end of this year to kind of compare, you know, the differences between the 2 years. But I don't know if continuing with the challenges is going to be something I will do. And I mean, it's personal preference. I'm glad I joined in on them last year. And I totally see the appeal of them. It's a good little community, like the challenge groups and stuff. It's a great community. So it's not like anything like that. It's just, I guess, personal preference to how you are as a stitcher, to if that is motivating to you or if it's not motivating to you. And yeah, I tried it and I enjoyed it, and while it was motivating for a while, then it just kind of burnt me out and stressed me out, particularly with, you know, other life things that were happening with me at those times. I just kind of, yeah, it wasn't for me. But I love that they're out there. I love that there's groups about it. I love that people are coming up with those types of challenges, and I love that for some people it is the motivation they need to maybe stitch on some of those projects, you know, especially those challenges that are like, they give you the prompt and, you know, you stitch on something with a tree, or, you know, it has to be stitching with a red, or, you know, like if that's something that motivates people to maybe pick up a whip that they haven't touched in a while or something like that. But yeah, for me, I think that, and obviously with no proof of it because I haven't measured it in any type of a way, but I feel like I was more productive when I was just stitching what I wanted to stitch on when I wanted to stitch on it, than I have been doing any of the challenges. So, you know, and I think that's one of those things that you either already like know about yourself, or you try it and you work that out about yourself, what type of a stitcher you are. got an itchy nose and I'm not even in front of the camera. I used to get real paranoid about that in my like floss tube update videos, is how often I would like itch my nose. And then I heard someone one day say on one of their floss tubes, you know, it's the floss tube curse of the itchy nose. And I was like, oh, that's definitely it, because I don't think I've ever itched my nose as much as when I'm on camera trying to film an update. And it's like, you can only edit so much of it out before you've edited everything and you're left with nothing. So this must be around the edges of her eyelids or something. Where are we there? Yeah, the edges of her eyes. I need to reach over here and put this one. Pink one there. Pink one there. I've always been a big reader, but never, like, I've listened to audiobooks before, but I've always been one of those people that's like, oh, listening to an audiobook's not real reading. Just out of pure ignorance, I guess, is why I've had those thoughts. Because this year I've just was like, oh, you know, I have Audible and I had credits there, and I thought, oh, I've only ever really listened to like autobiographies and stuff on my Audible before, and so I've never paid like too much attention to it. And then I just thought, oh, you know, I've got the credits there. I'll just grab a few books that are on my to read list to do it. And I'm like obsessed with it now. Because I listen to podcasts and stuff, and that's normally what I listen to during the day at work and everything. But I've started listening to these audiobooks, and I've just, yeah, I'm obsessed now. And I heard someone say, and I mean, great point, they said that, well, but when you're a kid and you're reading you read a book with your parents, even though they're the ones reading it, like, you still say, oh, we read that book together. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, like, just because I'm not physically reading the book, because I love reading, but it's one of those things that I think to myself, like, I have to have the time to want to sit down and read it and spend the time doing that, rather than, say, sitting down and cross-stitching, or, you know, sitting down and doing, like, I kind of just think, like, oh, I've got to really have the time. And normally I take my e-reader to, like, when the kids are doing training or something like that, and that's kind of like when I think to myself, oh, well, I've got the time, I've can't do anything else while I'm sitting here, I'll read rather than like taking a cross-stitching project or something there. So I kind of limit myself to that. And then, but yeah, now I've started these ebooks, audiobooks, and I'm like obsessed now. And like I keep running out of my Audible credits and then buying more, but like even some of those, they do like free books that are like featured or something like that, and sometimes you can get a whole series of them, or sometimes you can get like, you know, the first 2 or 3 books of a series, and then you just spend your credits getting the rest of the series if you liked it. But some of those ones are fantastic. So I've been really enjoying that. That's kind of been my new thing, is listening to these audiobooks kind of no matter what I'm doing. And yeah, so now I've joined a whole bunch of book lover like Facebook groups, so I'm getting a whole bunch of suggestions, but now I've got to either save up my pennies to buy myself some more credits on Audible, or or add them to my wish list, because I still do obviously also enjoy reading. So some of them I do have that I'd prefer to read myself, but I've found some great new authors lately, like just out of the free ones, and obviously I like the romancy books. I just finished actually last night. I stayed up a bit late cross-stitching because I was trying to get to the end of this audiobook. And it was called If He Had Been With Me. And oh my god, it was the saddest ending. And it's about kind of like, I mean, it's pretty popular. It's all over my book things, but it's a kind of like a teenage romance where they didn't really, like, they were next door neighbours and best friends, and then they grew apart when they went to junior high or something, and then, you know, they realised that they kind of had feelings for each other but didn't really act on it, and then it's like the moment they act on it, he's gone, and it's just, broke my heart. Great book. Absolutely great book, but I was like devastated. So then I had to listen to like a more light-hearted kind of like rom-com book before I could go to bed, because I was like, oh god, it's so sad. Like I just can't end on the sadness. But so I've been listening to and I think they must have been free books on, and I can't tell you the authors' names, although these books that I'm listening to at the moment, the author is Lucy Chow, and I think it is just that she was free on Audible. But so there's 2 books of hers. I'm currently listening to The Comeback, and the other book of hers that I listened to earlier this week was The Stand-In, and she has the same lady that reads it, whose name I cannot think of at the moment, but they're great books. They're funny. They're very light-hearted. They're not heavy on like romance stuff. It's more about, I guess, the journey of them falling for each other. And yeah, it's really good. I really like it. She must be of Asian descent, because her books are like the lead characters are Asian. I'm trying to think of where this lead male character is from. They said it about 1,000 times in the book. Not lost, but it's really nice to listen to books like that. I mean, not that it's any different really to if they were just two, Americans or Australians or anything, but it's just interesting because they're based in Canada, so the female lead characters are always kind of like, they have an ethnic background but they're Canadian, and so it's interesting to hear, like the stereotypes that come out. Like in this book, she's a lawyer, and there was a new lawyer that started that was just a blonde white lady, and she just tried to throw out all these different accents and Asian languages and just kind of like stereotype. And then the lead is like, I'm Canadian, I don't speak any of these other languages, but it's just like hits on all of that type of stuff. And they kind of, the lead characters are like, we just don't speak it, and don't really understand. And then there was a bit in the stand-in, they would speak in a different language, and then she was teaching herself to speak that language, to better understand them. And at one point they were having like a private conversation, and she's trying to like use an app to translate it so that she could try and understand what they were saying, and she's like completely lost. And they're like, they're trying to talk about someone, you can kind of get the gist of their conversation, and then she is like, the app would throw out like they're like trying to say a name, and the app's like waffle, and she's like, yeah, I don't know who Waffle is. But they're great books. I'm really enjoying them. And then obviously Lucy Score's books that are pretty popular. Everyone's been reading her newest one, the Knock 'Em Out series. So The Things We Leave Behind and The Things We Hide in the Dark, I think, are the two which I listened to that second one as soon as it was released, which was only, was it only the beginning of this month that it was released? Must have been. But yeah, they're really good. So I'm waiting on the third one in that series to come out. And yeah, I've realised I've got to jump back into some of the Colleen Hoover books. In one of the groups, they put out like a checklist of Lucy Score and Colleen Hoover to kind of show which of their books are standalone and which ones are actually in a series, because I think that's where I get a bit lost with Colleen Hoover, is that I'm like, oh, but is it a part of a series? What should I be reading first? But I've got some checklists now, so I'll be able to work off that for my wish list for what I want to read, and I definitely want to read some more of Lucy Score's books. But yeah, I'm having a great time with my audiobooks. They've been a real joy to listen to, because I'm not huge on TV, so yeah, it's nice to just sit there and listen to an actual story. A story being read. I get a bit thrown with some of these romance ones though, where they have the male and female parts of the book, and they'll so they have obviously the two voice actors, and I love them. I love hearing, like, you know, when it is being from a male perspective. I love having a male narrator read it. It just kind of brings it a bit more to life. But it's so funny, like, when it's the male is reading it, it's from his perspective, that chapter. But then he has to do, like, when there's the dialogue and the girl is talking, and so then he has to put on, like, a girl voice, and you're like, oh god, it's very it's very disjointed to how she sounds. And, like, there was one book where, like, when the female narrator would voice the male character in, like, a she'd make him sound really preppy, but then when the male narrator come on, like, he had a completely different tone, and it's just like, oh god, like, I couldn't. It was very, so sometimes it's very hard to listen to, just because you're like, you know, if I was reading that myself, how my brain would assign an accent to them, or, you know, like the tone of voice or something. It's just interesting to hear how a narrator perceives it. But yeah, there was one book, one series where they would actually, in those kind of like dialogue scenes, the narrators would just talk to each other, and it was so effective. It was such, it made it so much easier to listen to. But yeah, I mean, I'm no authority on it. I've only just started listening for the last month. But it's good. It's interesting. I really enjoy it. Definitely a new favourite for me. So that's too short. Oh. I can hear my washing machine going off out there, reminding me I have chores to do. I've already had to clean the whole couch and mop the whole lounge room, because the outdoor cat, who now would like to identify as an indoor cat, he doesn't use the litter box because he's used to just peeing wherever he wants outside. And so he decided that our leather lounge suite was a good toilet this morning. So he is very, very naughty. So I've already had to clean all of that up this morning and try and get rid of all of the smell and everything, so that the cats don't just think it's a free-for-all and they can keep peeing up there. So, needless to say, he got kicked out of the house. I said to my partner, like, and it's not for any reason, like the kitty litter, we thought that maybe he was just avoiding the litter tray because he can smell the other cats in it and he doesn't like that or something, but we've bought new litter trays, we've done all of this stuff like to try and sort it out, but he just will not, even in a fresh clean litter tray, he will not go there. He just either pees in the bathtub in the kids' bathroom, or he finds my couch, I guess. Like, so I'm at a bit of my wit's end with it, because it's like, what can we do? If he wants to be inside because he doesn't want to be out there with the puppy, then he's going to have to learn to use the litter tray, but he's also an old cat. Like, he's stubborn now. He's set in his ways. He doesn't want to have to abide by the household rules. He's a rebel without a cause. I don't know. So we got a little bit cranky this morning. We were both a bit frustrated when we're like, oh great, now we got to clean this up. Anyway, he can go outside for a little bit and I'll bring him back in later, but yeah, I'm not real sure what to do about him now, and because we've got 2 male cats, I don't know if it's like something to do with that either. Like, it's a dominance thing as well. Like, he won't go into the litter tray because the other male cat uses the litter tray, so he's going to mark his territory on other things. But I don't know. Cats, man. Okay. Whoop, whoop. What's A? 79. What's 79 look like? Oh yeah, just like that. These one stitch collars. I don't have any short thread, so I'm not short enough. Come on, there we go. I think this purple thread that I've got sitting there that I already X'd over for some reason probably needs to go. It probably should be black or something. Okay, what is this colour? 53. What's that look like? Put that back. Put those ones back. 53. Oh yeah. So once that's done, then they should pretty much all be, oh, what actually, I don't know what those two symbols are. That's annoying. There we go. Out of the way, you. So those two and one down here. And one down here. Like that there. Oh, hope if I was on the right thing. Okay, what is this colour? 98. Oh. don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't know if maybe this brown should have been a grey. Okay, where over here? That one. Oh. I probably should have just parked that rather than tried to end it off. Where is my... there it is. I'm parking it way over in a different area. That's fine. Okay. And my little skull and crossbones is 96. Ow. Okay. Okay. Right there. And then I'll park that up there. Okay. So they're all going to be that. They're all going to be this one. Oh, whoop, whoop. This is the edge of her second eyebrow. The shading of those, like all these colours that I just did here, looks really good on camera. at how good that looks. Little eyebrow. Alright. Right. Where's the little cheat sheet? Nope. Okay. Is there already a black part down there? There is already a black part down there. That's alright. It's fine. It's fine. We will work that out. Okay. Oh, that's exciting. So this line should be edging down from her eyebrow to this will be like her nose. So, which is why I'm still not sure whether that line should just be maybe grey. We'll see. Let's see what happens. What's this colour here? 54. Well, hopefully next time I come on here then I'll have some face to show you guys. That'll be exciting. Judging at the rate I'm working, it probably will be, we'll be back doing probably just under here. Depending how much I get done today. So we might get that. Might get to see that eye being done. Okay, what's that colour? 95. So this is kind of like the bridge of our nose. Top of that. Whoop. Oh, that's not gonna help anyone, is it? Oh, now I can't. I've looped to get around something at the back that stopped that from working. This one here. And that one goes there. Filling this in has not made any of this an easier choice. So that's been wholly unhelpful. Oh, get off. 73. Whoop. $73. Oh, get out. And 14. $14. All right. So it's not as defined of a line as I thought it was going to be. Oh, now I'm questioning everything. It is only small, I guess. Okay. Alright. Focus. I think I will just... We're gonna go like that. We're gonna go like that. I think we will just put this one in. Okay, so we've got 2 eyebrows done. This is the top of her eyelid. So yeah, I'll work on these next 2 boxes, which will be the rest of her eyebrow and her eye. And then hopefully by the next time we come back, we'll be working in the spot just below where we worked today, so that will be part of her nose and her cheek. Excellent. Well, I think that's pretty good progress. Thank you all for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe and all those fun YouTube things. And I will see you all next week with another stitch with me. Thanks. Bye.